on this computer. Welcome to the Sleevy G Show. I'm the host of your most. My name is Gomez, and today I'm back from vacation, baby. Even though there's been shows that have been running, but I'm back from vacation, and today I got a comedian. He's a podcast host. He's also a father. He's going to be a newly author. His book is coming out soon, and he's got some good podcasting shows. One of them being that I was just listening to is the Stupid History Minute. Let's introduce Keb Pounds. What's going on, Keb? How are you today?
Hey, man. I appreciate you having me, man. This is exciting.
Oh, I appreciate you coming on. First, we got to give a little shout out to Mama D.
Sure.
If it wasn't for her, we would not be talking today. She threw out an email introducing, going, "Hey, her first of all, her podcast, Pedals of Support,
Yep.
Great show. Listen to it too weekly, or when I can catch up on some of my shows.
Yeah.
She's a great person. She reached out to me right when I came back from vacation, and here I am with Keb right now. We collaborated. We were able to get a schedule going already, and here we are today, man. And
here we are in all of its glory. I'll tell you something about Mama D. If it weren't for her and a couple of other people, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Because I would have. You could know, and everybody else out there in the podcasting world, or people who have a passion for entertaining other people, that it could get real stagnant at sometimes, and you could get burned out and all this. And it is very helpful if you do have people that are in your corner that do the same thing and could kind of keep you going, because
you know what's funny, Keb? You're just talking about that. I took the month off of July.
Sure.
Vacation with the family, the kids.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I got enough shows in the bank, till mid-August. Let me take some time off.
Sure.
And like you said, I'm seeing my numbers. I'm like, some shows are doing good, some aren't. You're like, am I doing something right?
Right.
And then, over the weekend, I was really thinking hard, like, maybe, I just released my 30th episode August 1st, which is today.
Mm-hmm.
So 30 episodes by myself, unfreaking believable for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, that's a huge goal and a huge accomplishment.
Sure.
Because a lot of guys like me who are very small in a huge pond, to make a big splash like a whale, like me, it's hard because you're trying to find a niche. And me, I love talking to people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My show is not, let's talk 30,000 questions. No. It's shooting a shit. Like if we're right next to each other drinking beers, which we're not, but enjoying each other's conversation. But everything I've said is the truth about you. You're a comedian.
I am.
Let's start off with how did you become a comedian? Let's start off with that one.
Well, I've always thought, number one, being funny it can be a learned trait, but I think the biggest thing is learning not to take yourself seriously at all. That doesn't mean are you serious about things or are you focused on things. That just means if you screw up, that it's just it's difficult to describe to your outlook on things. You look at the world in a different way when you don't take things as seriously as others. I give you an example. If you've ever heard me on a podcast, you've heard me say this, that I am not a political guy.
Same here.
I'm just not. But that doesn't mean I don't think both of those clowns are hilarious. And somebody asked me today, is like, well, who do you want elected? Both of them. Why do you want both of them elected? So I can make fun of them both, and you just look at things, a little different way. You look at the funny things, and on that, in saying that, I think comedy, certainly stand-up, is probably about the last bastion of free speech we have
pretty much
out there,
or podcasting, pretty much whatever. These are the last two legit freedom of speeches we do have.
Sure. So to answer your question, I had a buddy that was a comic, and I started writing jokes for him, and I started getting tired of listening to people laugh at my jokes. to him. So, I tried my hand at it, which translated into this, and not to say that I don't do that anymore, but it translated into a even larger audience that I could share and even say whatever I wanted. Within reason. I'm not, I don't turn and hit record and try to piss people off, but I will give my opinion when asked. So, I often say, if you don't want to know the answer, don't ask the question, because I will give you an honest answer. It just opened up a lot of opportunities for me, but it's kind of like therapy, and you look at the world a different way. I'll give you an example. I was on vacation as well, and me and my son went whitewater rafting.
Oh, how was that?
That was awesome. It was awesome. He loved it. My son's be 16 in September.
All right.
So we're leaving this place. Now we are in, whether or not where your car is positioned, you're either in Western North Carolina or Eastern Tennessee, one of the two, because the line, we basically went up and down the line.
Right.
There you are. And we're not in a populated area. Okay. We're with people that talk like this, if you catch my drift.
Yes, I do.
So we hit the GPS. I'm really, really surprised that I have a signal. So we hit the GPS and it's taking us through these back roads. Trust me, Western North Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, lots of back roads. Really all they have.
And the funny thing, before you continue on that story,
sure.
You know what happens when you go between Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee? There's those are not just trails, they're moonshine trails, probably.
Oh, sure.
Hopefully you found a nice guy that gave you some moonshine for free, I hope.
I may or may not have made myself a best friend. I may or may not. Yeah, so we go and GPS is taking us on this road. Now, the only way I can explain the road is it's about as wide as like a big sidewalk.
Okay.
Like a New York City sidewalk. Not even that big.
So it's smaller than let's go for a New Jersey sidewalk. It's big enough. It's big enough, but it's also not that huge. So let's go with New Jersey, because
it's bigger than a Jacksonville, Florida sidewalk.
Okay, well, I've been there before, so I know how it is.
So you've been down here?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so I go to get on this road and I'm like, how are two cars gonna get on this road? And my son's like, it looks like a bike trail. So we go up there. Anyhow, we see the signs on both sides of the road, and we see the sign that says, "Do not enter. Your GPS is wrong." So I look at my son, and he's like, "What?" He's like, "It says do not enter. The GPS is wrong." And I'm like, "Well, where the hell else are we going to go? Do you know any of these roads around here? Are we just going to drive around aimlessly?" And he's like, "No." He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, I'm way shocked that this happened. He goes, "Why are you so shocked?" Right. He's like, are you shocked at the fact that your GPS is wrong? I said, no, I'm shocked at the fact that the people in Eastern Tennessee know what GPS is.
I love it. I love it.
And that just happened last week. So
but it's funny, it's like the big debate here in New Jersey. If you've ever been to Jersey, you know what the huge debate is: Taylor ham or pork roll. Okay, so
funny you should say that.
Well, if you have an opinion on it, I always love to hear it.
Well, in preparation for my appearance here, and in the good form of the Stupid History Minute, if you'll permit me, I wrote a Stupid History Minute specifically for this program.
Oh, I love it. Please.
So if you'll permit me just a little over a minute.
Oh, I will permit.
Go through this in I'm going to give you all of its glory except for the music.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Hello and welcome to the Stupid History Minute. I'm your host, Keb Pound. Today, we're talking about the New Jersey pork roll. The history of the New Jersey pork roll traces it back to the mid-19th century. In 1856, John Taylor, a Trenton, New Jersey native, created this distinct meat. Originally named Taylor ham, it gained popularity for its flavorful blend of salt, sugar, and spices encased in a tubular shape. The product's success led to its original branding as the Taylor pork roll. Over time, rival companies adopted similar recipes, leading to debates over the name pork roll versus Taylor ham. In 1910, the state intervened, coining it the pork roll. Today, the regional delicacy has since become an iconic part of the New Jersey's culinary culture, enjoyed in sandwiches and breakfast dishes all across the Garden State. This has been the Stupid History Minute, and I'm Keb Pound.
I love it. That is of course, the huge debate. So the other thing is too, there's North Jersey and South Jersey. They forgot about Central Jersey.
Right.
So Central Jersey does not exist.
Okay.
So if you're
did it just disappear?
And well, if you had our governor Phil Murphy,
Right.
it did disappear because he's in Trenton.
Who was your governor? That guy. He ate the donuts.
Krispy Kreme Christie.
Yeah, the fat boy. That guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Does anybody ever tell him he wears his pants too high?
No, but if he goes for a presidential debate, I hope someone does. Again, this is where I don't go politics too,
Sure.
like you, but I don't like the guy either. But if you ever seen the movie Ice Age,
I have.
Remember the John Leguizamo's Sloth?
Oh yeah.
Look, if that's our governor.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
but
sweet.
Other than that, New Jersey is a great state to visit I actually have lived here all my life, 43 years, and I tell you, nothing beats the Garden State is great. I love going to the Carolinas. I love going to Florida. Love going to Georgia. I love everything in the United States. You know what I mean? That's what I love. But something about home, the Jersey Shore for me. No, not the show. The actual show, like
do you know Snooki?
Actually, Snooki does live in this area where I'm from.
What about the situation?
The situation lives in a town that I am not a millionaire in.
Are you familiar with the town Belmar?
Yes, I am, of course. I had many of drunken nights there myself as a younger kid.
I got a good friend that lives there.
Oh, good. Well, then I like him already.
Yeah. He actually has his own podcast, but yeah,
nice.
That's the only part of New Jersey I really know where. I mean, Trenton,
Trenton, but that's the thing, like I have a buddy he's a stand-up comedian. He's pretty raunchy. My buddy Sean Morton, and I had him on my show a while ago, and he did the best ending. He goes, "You call your followers sleevers?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Goodbye," and he just signed off. It was like the perfect sign off, you know what I mean? Like I was laughing my ass off. And that's what I love, you know what I mean? And it's just amazing like how we all involved as podcasters. Like you said.
Sure.
I have a few people that are on my corner. I'm just not a podcaster. I'm also a blogger. I have my own website too. Like I blog.
I checked it out.
Oh, I appreciate you checking my stuff out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I gibberish a little bit. Sometimes I don't make sense, but that's me kind of venting. It's like it's almost like my therapy.
Right. Yep.
I know fantasy football is coming around the corner. So, people are getting ready for that. I know I am because I'm on 2 leagues this year. So I'm kind of excited because now the kids are a little older. Yay.
Nice.
So feeling helpless. I got hurt not too long ago.
Uh-oh.
And I feel like my wife has been doing so much. I fell down some steps and I got lucky. No breaks, no surgeries, just a really bad high grade 2 sprain to the ligaments of my knee.
It wasn't an alcohol related incident, was it?
No, it was not. It was a sober incident.
Yeah.
When you fall down some steps, at times to be kind of funny, but not for the fallee. For the fallers, they'll love it, but not for me.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I did not break my legs. Let's just say that.
That's good.
So, but I know we went off topic a little bit, but
dude, I was gonna tell you, like, I can seriously like to talk. I don't like to, like you were saying, you like to talk to people. I just like to talk.
Yes,
and I will go off on a left field and it will go. I was on one last night and this dude was trying to get off and I just kept going. And then I'm like, and that's, we're talking about comedy and all this. And then I'm like, well, you know what? And that's the problem with the Westboro Baptist Church, and it just kept going and going and going. And finally it's just like, dude, shut up.
Me personally, I love it. You know what I mean? Because you get to see personalities of people. You know what I mean? That's why when people come on here, I want them to feel to be themselves, man. I don't want them to
Sure.
think it's an interview. It's a time to shoot the shit.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, we have busy lives, you and I.
Yep.
This is, I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I
Yeah.
love it.
It's an escape from reality.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little bit, of making it your own reality. And it
Mhm.
allows people who what's funny, especially about podcasting, because you're not really, I mean, I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. I'm in
Yeah.
Florida, you're in New Jersey, right?
Yep.
So I find it funny, the people who get nervous. And for a while there, I was on a show called Unfiltered,
Yes.
and then I started a thing called Keb Unfiltered. Then I brought two people in, and then I was on Unfiltered. And I don't know if you followed that monstrosity, but we can get into it if you want. Anyhow, so I would have a different guest on every week,
Hmm.
right? We had some pretty cool guests. We had DC Glenn from Tag Team.
Nice.
We had some stand-up we had a guy from TikTok's got 4 billion followers or whatever, that all he does is read stupid books, which was a very big motivator for the Stupid History book.
Nice.
This guy, his name is Brad Goss. He's on TikTok. Go. He's hilarious.
I gotta check him out.
Yeah. Now, if you just tell your listeners, if they are sensitive, he is not for you. But he is hilarious. I have one of his books right here.
Oh wow, I love it.
He makes adult children books, and they're
Nice.
hilarious.
Oh God, I have a guy who's a child in his adult way, so that might be a good book for him for Christmas.
But if they're sensitive, pass.
The only thing
I think he's hilarious.
I think the only thing me and this guy can't talk about is presidentials. So
Yeah.
then we're good for everything else.
Sure. So, but these people who would get on with me and be like, "Man, I'm a little nervous," and I said, "What do you think I'm going to bite you through the computer? I mean, do you think I'm going to ask the tough questions? I'm going to ask, what is your favorite cereal? And go through it. Is cereal soup? Because we could talk for a half hour on whether cereal is soup or not.
Right.
Do you put salt on your food before or after you taste it? Things like that. And they're like, why do you ask questions like that? I was like, because I don't care who you're voting for president. I really don't. And to tell you the truth, I don't know many people that do.
I don't. Well, except this past one I did.
So I mean, but no one's going to change. My point is, no one's going to change anybody's mind. So we might as well just have fun.
Enjoy life. Enjoy what you're doing.
Right.
Before I did this, I was on another show called Playlist Wars with my best friend of almost 30 years.
Right.
And his show kind of went in hiatus, and I had a knee injury. I tore my MCL. So I'm home bored.
Sure.
So I threw down some ideas on a notebook, and I said, listen, dude, I want to do a podcast with you, but I want to do it with something that we both can enjoy and, we can have fun with. He came up with the title Playlist Wars. I was like, damn, that does sound like a lot of fun. It was supposed to be three best friends, but our other buddy couldn't do it because of work schedule, which we got. We ended up doing it during COVID. And the one thing we did was have a special guest every week. We had Rob Felicetti from Bowling from Soup, Matt James from Blacktop Mojo, which he came on my show recently. He was on my show, so I got to talk to him for a little bit. So it was pretty cool. And Brian, he's a musical genius. He's a musical nerd. Like, you could ask him anything and he'll tell you the right answer.
Okay.
So it took me a couple episodes to find my niche. It wasn't until I found we were on the Beastie Boys episode and the song No Sleep to Brooklyn. So I'm like going, I'm trying. A great song. And I'm like, wow, it reminds me of this movie with Steven Seagal. And everyone's like, oh, that's you. That's what you need to do. And I'm like, oh, all right. Everyone's going ape shit. And then everyone started listening, like, holy Christ, I love the movie, the video game references. Like, I go into extensive research because, I love the fact that people are gravitating towards me for that. You know what I mean? Brian was a musical genius. He knows his music. But me, the video games, like GTA was a huge part of my life. So
Mm,
when we did like 80s and some rock songs
sure,
that were in there, I kept
sure.
on bringing, hey, everyone who knows the Gomez, it's GTA. It's in the video game.
You know, you brought up video games.
Yes.
This might be one of these tangents, but and I got a point here. You're just gonna have to let me get to it.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Um, I can remember. I'm 48 years old. I was
Okay.
born in 1975. Makes me smack in the middle of Gen X, right?
Hmm.
So I can remember vividly where I was when President Reagan was shot in
Okay.
1981. I can remember vividly where I was January 28th, 1986, when the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up.
I actually
And
remember where I was.
naturally, just like everybody else, I remember exactly where I was when I learned of the events of September 11th, 2001. But none of them compare to exactly where I was when I beat Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch Out on the original NES. None of them.
I was in kindergarten when the Space Challenger blew up. September 11th, it was kind of funny. Me and Brian Colburn, we were going to go see Lit in the
Right?
city
Nice.
when, and we never got a chance. And we actually had Kevin Ballas on Playlist Wars from Lit, and we were talking about that show, how we were going to come down and see the show and
Right.
how 9/11 happened and all that stuff. And we still have the tickets. We had the
Wow.
tickets to that show.
Wow.
So he asked Brian, because I think he went to go see him not too long ago, and he's like, dude, Brian wants the ticket. I'm like, yeah, give it to him. We said we were gonna give it to him because of his
Sure.
of the history and all that stuff. So, I had no problem with it, because that's when you got a band member asking for that ticket specifically and you have it, I'm giving it to the damn guy.
Sure. Sure.
So it was kind of cool. It's sad and cool, you know what I mean? And it's kind of funny, how you said how you remember. Well, I
Yeah.
remember, was it January 20? It was January 22nd, 2022, when I beat GTA 5.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get an email from Rockstar, email from PlayStation. I'm in the top 29% to beat the damn game.
Nice.
So where's my plaque? I'm still waiting for it. Or at least give me GTA 6 when it comes out for free.
Right.
Sheesh, I'm only 29% to beat the whole damn game.
Wow.
But it's like you said, where were you
Sure.
when you beat Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch Out?
I was at a guy named Jason Bell's house. It was June 11th, 1988. It was on a day where the moon was full and the sun was shining. And man, when I beat him, you would have thought we won the damn Super Bowl.
I was about to say
I mean,
it.
we went out and we had to go like knock on everybody's door, and we went down to Nick's house, we went down to Colin's house,
We
and the
did it.
old
We did it.
yeah, the old lady across the street, we woke her up, and said, hey, and she's like, hey, Sonny, I mean, hey, we beat Mike Tyson. Who the hell is Mike Tyson? And I mean, we told everybody. I went to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I beat Mike Tyson. He's like, you're boxing? Like, well, no, on the Nintendo. What's Nintendo?
Nintendo.
Yeah. Is that thing you bought? Oh, that thing that cost $400?
Oh
You
my
know,
god.
but yeah, I can't think of another video game because our generation kind of created it,
Yeah.
and I can't think of another video game that I was so excited. I could care less after that when with Super Mario or anything like that, or when the Madden came around, you won the Super Bowl, you're like, yeah, whatever, I mean,
It's like it's kind of funny. What was the one game it beat and I went crazy in Nintendo? It was Zelda.
yeah, Legend of Zelda,
Legend of Zelda, the
yeah,
gold cartridge, the first
sure,
one that. So when I never liked the game, but for some reason I was at my buddy's house and I started playing. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And like, when I was watching it, I'm like, this game sucks, But then you start playing it, and then you're like, okay, gotta beat this guy, gotta beat that guy, gotta do this, gotta do that, gotta.
right.
I'm like, all right, Mom, I think I know what I want for my birthday.
So while we're talking about Nintendo,
Mhm.
I have a question for you. What, how, uh, where is the level of sense of humor of your listeners?
They range, from not so funny to holy Christ, cracking up.
I mean, how edgy can they get?
Oh, we can get edgy here.
We can get edgy. This
Oh,
isn't really that edgy. It's just very suggestive.
oh no. This show, I let it go because that's me.
Okay.
This is a non-edited. We don't edit. I don't do
Oh
anything.
yeah.
I keep the show for real.
All right, you fit right in with the unfiltered guys. So the reason that somebody asked me not too long ago, what is your favorite console? Now, consoles in this house, we have the new Xbox,
Okay.
but again, I have a 16-year-old son. So, I mean, he needs it. So, but I've had, the PlayStation, I've had, the Sega Genesis,
Yeah.
N64, Super Nintendo, going on back to, I even had a Dreamcast at one
Oh
time,
wow.
and
Yeah.
so anyhow, but somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what is your favorite console of all time? And I said the original NES. And for those of you that don't know what this stands for, it stands for Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yep.
It was the original. Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers came with it. And they kept going at me and going at me and going at me of why these other Sega Genesis and all this were better and all this. And I just let this guy go and let this guy go. But the way my brain works, it's always churning and it's
Yeah.
always going. It's always going. And I'm like, I am just going to eat this guy alive. And he just kept going on and on and on about why I was wrong. And he goes, and finally he goes, I just don't understand why you like the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original NES. And I said, because I prefer things that you have to blow on them before you stick them in. And he just looked at me.
He just was like quiet as hell, probably. I got it. He's probably, huh? Like giving you the look,
which
but
had
I
nothing
get
to
it.
do with the system.
No,
Which had nothing, but anybody who's ever played it knows what I'm talking about. And like I said, it could get kind of suggestive.
oh my god, how could I forget? It's like,
yeah,
you go up and down not once but twice.
it had to.
Okay. And then you put it in, then you still get the screen going black or blue, black or blue. Then you take the damn cartridge out, then you pick up the freaking NES system, like, and then you're blowing into the system.
Yeah. You remember after going through all that, you remember the time that you finally got it popped up and you're like, ooh, don't touch it.
Yes. Yes.
Don't touch it. And then I used to do this to my little sister all the time. You'd walk through the room and she's like, oh, I'm gonna get the high score on this, and I just hit reset.
Nice. I love it. Well, it's kind of funny because I'm the only video gamer in the house.
Okay.
So I've gone through my NES. I went to the N64, Super Nintendo, or Super Nintendo, then N64.
Right.
Then I went to Sega Genesis for a while. I had Genesis and the NES for a while. And then Xbox came out. I didn't like the Xbox. I went to the PlayStation. So I guess I stayed to the PlayStation all the way to the 5.
Okay.
So when the 4 came out, I was a little bummed because I couldn't get the 4.
Right.
Because at that time it was Christmas. My birthday's a week from Christmas. It always sucks. So I'm trying to find the bundles. And the coolest thing was my newly in-laws for my birthday got me the PlayStation 4.
Nice.
Dude, I was like a fat kid in a chocolate cake factory. I could have,
nice.
I was stunned. I wasn't really getting the idea why my father-in-law was asking all these questions. I thought it was because of for his son, because he's a PlayStation guy. He likes soccer and sports games like that. And I was thinking he was getting it from his son. Never thought it was for me. Totally never thought. So I thought it was a jersey. It ended up being the PS4. Dude, I was like the happiest fat kid I've ever been in my entire life. And nice. And I did get the PlayStation 5 the year it came out. I got lucky. I beat the bots.
Nice.
I was on. It was 5 minutes before my dentist appointment. I'm like on my phone at my dentist, and I go, "Hell yeah, I want it!" And they're like, "What?" I go, "Oh yeah, I got a PlayStation 5," and it came like a day after Christmas. The day after Christmas, it got delivered. Okay. So I was so excited.
I am not doing anything for the rest of the day. Don't talk to me. But what, honey? What are you? No, don't talk to me.
You know what's funny? I actually didn't touch it until like a day later. I let it sit there. I let it sit like it was. The light was shining on it,
All right.
it was saying play me, but it was the day after Christmas, so it's kind of I got to play with the kids a little bit,
Sure.
and play and build half of their toys. So it was like,
Sure.
so the next day I was pretty much, we're leaving you alone. Go do what you got to do with the PlayStation. I'm like, yes. It's like I'm cheating on my wife with a PlayStation.
Yeah. There's a story there. I tell you this, back the Christmas that the 2 came out, the PlayStation 2,
Yes.
it was such a big it's so much better than the original
Oh,
PlayStation,
without a
right?
doubt.
And I got one for Christmas. Now, by this time I'm in my 20s,
Right.
okay? I was I married? I was either married or dating my first wife. And that's a whole nother story. But she was like, what do you want for Christmas? I said PlayStation 2. She's like, you are a grown man with grown job, job and grown man things, so we're not getting you a video game system. I was like, okay, then I'll go ask my mommy. She loves me still and she'll buy me whatever I want. She's like, you are in your 20s and I want a PlayStation 2 and I'm going to stomp my feet until I get it.
Right.
And I was like, understand that if December 26th comes around and I don't have a PlayStation 2, I'm buying a PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2.
Just understand that. So if you don't want me to spend the 500 or so dollars it was at the time, then you will figure out somebody to buy it for me. The best people that do that are my parents. So call them. So, so after my parents got me the PlayStation 2, we lived in Atlanta at the time.
Okay.
And we were doing Christmas here in Jacksonville. So I had to go to work. I worked in a restaurant and I had to work the day after Christmas. So I drove back. I had to work at like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So I drove back like way early and got to Atlanta at like noon.
Okay.
And Atlanta is a 5.5 hour drive.
Yeah.
So I got there about noon, and the plan was I was going to take a nap and then get up and then go to work. Plugged into PlayStation 2, plugged into NCAA football, and we're off. Florida Gators going to win a national championship, babe. And plugged it in, and we were off. I did, and so it got to be like 3:30 work calls. They're like, "Hey, we really slow. We don't need anybody." I'm like, "Sweet." And I'm like, I'm playing, dude. I played that thing until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh
I
my
was so
god.
tired.
I can only imagine. I remember those nights. Like it was funny. I bought the Nintendo Switch. The portable
Sure,
Nintendo.
sure.
So it's kind of cool because they brought back some of the regular NES games.
Right.
Because I don't have the original NES anymore. I
Okay.
wish I did. When
I have the replica, the one where it has the games loaded on it.
yes, the mini.
Yeah, the mini. I had that. Yeah.
I had the Nintendo Mini and I had the Super Nintendo Mini. Now, the cool thing about the Nintendo Mini is it was my first year that my daughter was born. So it came out, and so I never got it. And it was there was my birthday, and it showed my in-laws gave me an envelope. I'm thinking, oh, cool, it's money or it's a gift card, to go wherever, and I don't mind that. I love stuff like that. It's a picture of my daughter holding the Nintendo and doing this. So it was like a great picture. I was like, oh my god, that is the coolest thing. And for my birthday, I got it.
Nice.
And then the Super Nintendo I got on my own, which was good. I was able to find one the first week it came out. So I bought the Nintendo Switch during COVID because I was sometimes bored and there was nothing. I beat all my video games. So the Nintendo Switch has been sitting there. It's somewhere over there now, actually, as we're speaking.
Nice.
And I noticed that it says, oh, old NES games, so of course it's not Mike Tyson's Punch Out, it's just Punch Out
with Mr. Dream.
with
They
Mr.
changed
Dream.
that because it turns out that Nintendo doesn't like it when you get convicted of rape.
Bite off Evander Holyfield's ear off either and start calling it Erios.
Sure.
So but playing the old, for me, it was the Super Mario games or Tecmo Ball, but playing Super Mario 1 and actually able to save it where I'm at, that was the only downfall that NES did not do very well.
Yeah, save it. But they did have the codes.
They had
They
the
did?
codes, but when you're playing like Super Mario and you're at world 6-6 or 6-8,
Sure.
you're like, I'm almost there. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, I really need to go to bed. And you hit power, and then the next morning you're like, it's not there.
Right.
Oh, fuck me. I don't know. There's been of nights all you hear is cock sucking son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck you. And my parents, my wife, even sometimes are like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just playing a video game.
Right.
Was it last night? I was playing NCAA, not NCAA. I wish I was playing some. So you mentioned
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
miss NCAA, but I
I
was
love
playing.
that game. That's my all-time favorite game.
I
Other
miss.
other than Tiger Woods golf, which is very difficult to beat me because I like if I'm playing somebody head to head, I'll like turn up the wind, you know, and it's very. I mean, I'll shoot 50 under, 60 under on a
When
four
did
round. Yeah,
I actually got the Masters PGA Tour for the PS5,
yeah. Is it
and
good?
I enjoy it. I'm loving it. You know what I mean? It's a great
Right.
game. It was better than actually the Tiger Woods 2K23 game.
Right.
I thought the 2K23 was too gameish, and I felt
It,
that it just felt very robotic.
did you ever see the third installation of the movie The Matrix?
Yes, of course I did. That's what
Okay,
it looked
so
like.
for the CGI looked very video game-ish.
Yeah,
You know, that's what it looked like to me.
it
Yeah,
was.
stuff like that.
But the PGA Tour Masters, the Masters Tour is actually pretty cool. Like
Okay,
it's I found it to be almost realistic.
gotcha.
The wind, like you said,
Sure. Yeah.
I've thrown my PlayStation remote control to the wall a couple times because of the wind.
Right.
You think you nailed it correctly, and you're like, you son of a bitch.
Sure.
It's like me on real golf when I'm playing real golf. I'm like, God damn it again. You
Yeah.
know,
I used to take real golf seriously, and then I just came to the realization that I'm not going to be on tour, and so
yeah,
if I'm going to pay X amount of dollars I'm going to try to have fun, and again, 4 hour escape from reality.
yeah.
You know, and I hate these people. I see them every day, and they're on their phone and they're in the golf cart, and people are waiting for them to hit, but they're on a business call. You know,
Oh, I
dude,
hate
shut your
those.
phone off.
Oh, dude,
You know,
that's the only time I ever pick up the phone was my wife calls me.
yeah,
And if she call because my wife and I text each other all throughout the day. If something is wrong, she calls.
sure,
I remember I was on the golf course. I was in a I wouldn't say a tournament. It's more like a an annual fundraising tournament. You know what I mean?
sure.
It's for
Yeah,
fun. It
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get some trophies for best team and
Yeah, yeah, I'm
you
in
know
them all
all
the time. I'm in them all the time.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm a horrible golfer,
me
but
too.
I love it. I could lose four sleeves in one round. Could care.
That's all.
That's a good day for me, actually.
Yeah, I buy two of those noodle boxes.
Yes.
You know, that's what I get. And not because I don't know what a good golf ball is. You know, I just know that at some point it's either going water, sand, woods. You
I
know,
have
that's where it's going.
I have Max Fly golf
Okay.
balls. So whatever's on sale is what I buy.
I will tell you, if they sold golf balls at the Dollar Tree, that's where I would go.
Exactly.
That's exactly where I would go.
And I just love playing the game. I'm not good at it, but I never took it seriously. This is actually I went 2 times last year. The year before COVID, I went a couple of times because I was able to get out.
Sure.
This year I have not been able to get out due to father obligations, being a
Sure.
father.
Sure.
My son's now turning 3.
Nice.
He's speaking a little bit more, so he's starting to stop biting his sister, biting me, and biting my wife. He's no longer a biter now. He just won't shut up. I got stories upon him. My God, he says the craziest shit, and so does my daughter sometimes.
I've been there.
Been there, and you've done that.
Yeah, I've been there.
But the crazy thing is, I love my kids, and I tell you, with this year's vacation, it was so freaking great. It was better than I anticipated.
Sure.
The best part is how do you shut your kids up in the car going on a trip? You just give them the iPads and let them go to town.
Yep.
The only thing is my son didn't know how to put his headsets on and all I can remember hearing is Despicable Me. I think I have that movie memorized right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, going down the shore, it's always fun with my family. It's like our little family get together with my in-laws, my brother-in-law, and we actually do have fun. We actually have a good time. We all laugh.
That's cool.
We go down to the boardwalk for the kids. I get funnel cakes and they get ice cream. I get deep fried Oreos. They get ice cream. I buy fudge. They buy
I get
fudge too.
okay.
So that's the 1 week I really eat very unhealthy.
Sure.
So, but those are the fondest memories I have is with the kids.
Yeah.
Um, my son is like he's a pisser. He'll crack you up. He'll he did a pose the other night. It was so freaking hilarious. I'm not gonna imitate it because I can't even get down on the ground like he did and did this
Right.
pose. But I was just like, where the hell do you learn this? I don't know, Dada. I'm like, you are one crazy
That's
SOB.
cute.
He's like, yeah. He knows what I was saying.
That's
Because
cute.
so he's hilarious. If I could be a stand-up comedian, let me tell you, I could talk so much shit about my wife and kids. And work. It's not even funny.
Well, that's what stand up is to me.
Yeah.
No one, at least for me, when I go, I don't want to hear about somebody just giving me their iteration of why we shouldn't use pronouns, or anything like that. I want to hear something personal, stories, or kind of like the backroad story I told,
Yeah.
something like that. Because I'll tell you this, all maybe not all comedy. I'm not a big fan of topical comedy. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Leave that to the late night talk show guys.
Yeah. That's them.
Yeah. Leave that to people who make Bill Maher makes fun of the news. Dennis Miller. The Saturday Night Live weekend update guys.
Yeah.
Leave that to them. But stand to me is life exaggerated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it is. And whether you can look at, like, I give you another example. I did this to somebody the other day. Those people who, like, you'll be in an office environment or whatever, and then they're like, "Good morning," and then you're like, "What's up?" And then
Yeah.
they're like, "Yo, you can do better than that. Good morning." You know who I'm talking about? Those
Oh
people?
yeah.
Yeah, fuck those people.
Yeah.
And just stuff like that.
Well, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers, he's like, "Good morning, Mister Poop." Like, "Good morning, poopy heads." I go, fuck you." It's like he knows, it's a good morning to you too. You know what
Sure,
I mean?
sure,
Calling me a poopy head, fuck
sure.
you.
And I love those people who are like, "Man, I'm so stupid. Maybe I should just kill myself." Promise? Can I watch?
Oh,
Promise?
listen, front row. I'll pay for
When?
it.
Yeah, when?
It's kind of
Yeah. Let me get my phone out. Video.
yeah.
You know.
Here's the thing, and this is kind of funny, but it's not. I had a good friend of mine pass away a long time ago,
Uh,
and you. So we're at the wake, and we get a flask made for him to go in his casket
okay.
with our names etched in the casket in the flask, saying Blumpkin. Now that was an inside joke from all of us.
Mm-hmm.
We get there, and all six of us are standing in front of his casket, looking at him, going, "I can't believe he's actually gone." And I go, "I can't believe someone put a damn can of Bacos in this freaking casket." I go, "That's you can't do that."
Right.
He goes, like, they're like, "Gomez, we're putting Jack Daniels." I know, it's a shame. We should be drinking it, not giving it to him. Like, but in the honor of my buddy, you know what I mean? Like, we did it. But I'm thinking to myself, but who puts a can of Bacos in the freaking
Right.
casket? I'm like, that's so wrong. But then again, it's fitting because it was him.
Sure.
The best thing, you want to talk about another funny personal. So he got married. We drove down to Brigantine, New Jersey, which is by Atlantic City, where his parents live. So it's me, the best man, the other groomsmen. So it was only four groomsmen that drove down from North Jersey to South Jersey.
Right.
So we're in this Acria. Now, let me tell you, we were not the four thinnest guys.
Right.
We look like four Guidos in a pimped out caddy, but it was an Acria, which was probably lower than to the ground. So when we hit every bump, we felt it.
So like a prequel to The Sopranos.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, except I didn't have the slick hair.
I
So
got you.
I wasn't being James Gandolfini, here,
Gotcha.
but my other guy looked like Vito, so who knows?
Cool.
So we get to this house, and we all have different rooms to sleep in.
Right.
One room had the futon. I called that right away. I'm like, I'm taking the futon. I love futons.
Sure.
He had his room. Now my buddy, one of my best buddies, he still is one of my best buddies. He gets the room with the drum kit.
Right.
Now he gets a full size air mattress, and for I don't know, I'm gonna say 25 minutes, he's trying to figure out why the sheet's not fitting on the air mattress. 25 minutes. We're all I couldn't stop laughing the whole entire time. I go, you guy. He goes, God damn it, son of a gun! Why isn't this shit not fitting? I'm like, we're all laughing. I laughed so hard I fell down the steps on that one.
Right.
Because I could not breathe laughing so hard. I thought I was going to die of a heart attack from not breathing or something. I fell down laughing. Someone goes, dude, you're putting a twin size sheet on a full size air mattress. Son of a bitch. If I was
it doesn't fit.
It don't fit at all.
Doesn't fit.
And it was just, those are the memories, like the funny memories, you know what I mean, that I had that I would use for stand up, because it's real life. It was true. Like, one time we went to a going away party. It took about 15 people to pull me into a pool. Well, nice. the only reason I let go is because I saw the deck starting to come off the railing come off the nails. I'm like, yep, gotta go.
Right.
I sent myself and like 15 other people into the pool.
Nice.
So, and then the next day we found out there was a hole in the pool. All the water leaked out. So those are great memories, man.
Sure.
God, we talked a lot already, and we didn't even get to your book.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about your book a little bit. That's coming out. So what are we doing with this book? What is it about and everything?
Well, it's based on the Stupid History Minute podcast.
Okay.
And that is I probably, before I get into the book, I probably should tell you how that came to be.
Okay.
So I was on a podcast called Unfiltered, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of wanted to do something. I have a very creative personality. So this isn't the first book that I've written. I actually have an unpublished book that I'm too scared to put out there. It's a comedy book, and I mean, I think it's funny, but a couple people I read it were like, yeah. So I just kind of put it aside, but it's still on the flash drive. But so I love history. Okay. So I watch like a lot of the History Channel. Like right now we're watching The Foods That Built America.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've always loved history. But I was finding everything that I would read about it was fucking boring, and I'll give you an example. My mom for Christmas, or somebody, my wife, I'm sure I'm gonna get this wrong, who bought it for me, but I own the book Hamilton, about Alexander Hamilton, one of the founding fathers. And it's the book that the Broadway show is based on.
Right.
So I start reading this book because I know that it's during the pandemic, and I know that it's fixing to come on Disney Plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody I know, me and my wife are huge musical theater fans.
Nice.
We both grew up in drama and music. So I'm like, I gotta read this book, so I'll get it. And I was just like everybody else. I mean, I knew who Alexander Hamilton was. I knew he got shot by Aaron Burr, but I didn't really know where he was from, or that I didn't even know he's an immigrant.
Didn't know that either.
I started reading this book, and I was just like, man, this thing's boring. I'm not reading anymore. I'm putting it over here. And then I watched the play, and it was great. It was entertaining. Yeah. So I was like, why is it like that? So, and then every history podcast I would listen to and everything, it was just too long. I mean, there's only so many times we can talk about the conspiracy of how Kennedy got killed, So, and then the true crime space is huge.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have a history podcast, and we're going to give people history. And it started with 5 minutes, right?
Right.
But then it got a little long to write. So you know what? We're going to do 1 minute and or thereabouts. And so I was talking to one of my co-hosts at Unfiltered, and they're like, "What are you going to call it?" I said, "I'm going to call it the History Minute or something like that." He's like, "Well, what are you going to do it on?" And I was like, "That's a good question." So I'm sitting in my recliner one day. I'm like, I got this idea, and what am I going to do it on? And my wife had just gotten a Ninja blender, and the box was on the kitchen table. And I looked at it, and I said, "We're going to do stupid everyday items or topics or just stuff that people deal with on a daily basis." And episode 1 is blenders. And that's why it's episode 1. If you go to wherever you download podcasts,
Yep.
blenders are the number 1 episode, and it's also the first chapter of the book.
And it's kind of funny as I'm looking on. You got some good best episodes on Good Pods. I'm looking at
Pickles.
pickles. I fucking hate pickles. I have a good one on that one. So I used to eat pickles by the jar,
Right.
even drink the juice.
Sure.
So I guess my mom bought like 5 jars of pickles one day,
Right.
and I was home. It was a Saturday. I was a kid living, I guess you could say, kind of in the hood a little bit. Not,
Mhm.
I wouldn't call it gangster, like, Long Beach or Compton over there in Cali, but close enough
Right.
for New Jersey. It's not a great area where we live.
Sure.
So I was watching Saturday morning cartoons. So noon comes around, you get the Saturday afternoon lineup. You get the A Team at 1. You got the
Right.
Dukes of Hazards at 2. Then you got Street Hawk at 3. You got Airwolf at 4, and then you get 2 hours of Knight Rider. Now
Right.
that's an action-packed Saturday afternoon for me.
Sure.
So around noon, I started eating pickles. Classic pickles. I'm eating them, drinking the juice. I think I got to my 4th one around 5 o'clock, not realizing it. And my mom goes, "Did you eat all the pickles?" I go, "Uh-huh." She goes, "Not feeling good, are you?" I'm like, "Uh-uh." Gonna upchuck all over. And the smell of pickles, the juice, everything
Sure.
is turned me off. So pickles and me don't mix anymore. I haven't had
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
I haven't had a pickle since 1988.
Nice.
So my wife, though, on the other hand, loves pickles.
Right.
She fried pickle. I just look and I'm just like, oh god, pickles. I listen. I said the words I do. I married into the pickle lady, kind of. She loves her
Sure.
pickles. She loves them. I respect her. I just gotta bring some chewing gum or banaka because I can't stand the pickle smell sometimes.
I don't even know why that's the number 1 episode.
I'm
I mean,
surprised.
I don't understand. Like, I'm not a big look podcasting. No matter what podcast you do, in my opinion, if you're in it for downloads, you're in it for the wrong reason. So I mean, I know that's how we can monetize and all this good stuff. But if you're in this to get, this is a prime example of a get rich slow scheme.
Yeah,
And how slow? Very
they're
slow.
slow.
So if you're in it to make it, your primary source of income, you're going to lead a very, very budgeted life.
Yep.
But I'll get on there and be like, why are people listening to this one? Because I certainly have my favorites, but that were fun to record and fun to make fun of. And I'm sure if you've listened to enough episodes, you could tell that I'm kind of making fun of the people who host these shows,
Oh yeah.
and with voice inflections and all this, and they always name themselves twice. And that's why I did that. They always welcome you to the podcast that you already clicked on, and they got to tell you, I don't know if you read I was on sports talk radio here locally for 4 years.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
And when you're in sports, when you're on the radio, celestial radio,
Mhm.
every so often you gotta be like, well, it's 9:30 p.m. and it's 76 degrees outside. You're listening to 1010 XL Jacksonville, Florida sports radio, and you have to say that. And then like every time you come off of a bump, when you come back in, it's a little different, but you're listening to 1010 XL Jacksonville Sports Radio, I mean, and stuff like that. So people are, and you get so numb to it, you say it really fast,
Right.
and then production tells you, hey, slow down, so um you it was kind of like that. I would listen to, because I did a ton of research. And then I was like, you know what? And then I can't remember if it's my wife or somebody, like, so you're gonna do minute-long podcasts once a week. And I'm like, we're gonna do this every day, And I was even
Yeah.
toying with like twice a day,
Right.
but I was like, every day, different one every day, and
And
she's
that's
like,
awesome.
yeah, and they're like, well, how are you gonna do it? I was like, well, there's a thing called a scheduler. And she's like, you're gonna record one every day? No, I'm gonna do it like once every 2 weeks, but because there is a level of research that you
Oh
have to
yeah.
do, and you have to write these things out. And I don't know if you can see this, but I mean, it's a good half a page,
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
and so when you rattle off 15 of those,
Hmm.
there is a level, of research. But
Yeah,
on August 7th, we're gonna have our 400th episode.
that's so awesome. So
Yeah,
that's next week. So
yeah,
when this airs in a couple of weeks, which I'll tell you once, well,
sure.
when I'm going to air it, I got to get my. Actually, it's kind of funny. I don't even have my calendar book. My I forgot to take that out. So like you have your scheduler, I have
Sure.
my calendar book here because
Gotcha.
why? I am horrible. I'm a bad guy when it comes to remembering dates.
Right.
And
There's an app for that.
yeah, that's not even happening. I literally got to write it down. If not, I'm horrible.
Yeah.
So I when I first started podcasting on my own, and I accidentally scheduled. I thought the guy told me I'm coming on next week, and can we move? I'm like, yeah, not a problem. And he goes, hey, are we on for time? I'm like, oh, Nikes. Yep, we'll still do the show. I'll shoot this through the hip. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's what I like what I do because I don't have a script. I don't have
Yeah.
a list of things going. It's raw. It's unedited.
Sure.
It's unfiltered.
Sure.
It's not. There's no one tying me up. Now, if someone's paying me $180,000 a year, then you can tie me up for it. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
that's what I love. What I do. You know what I mean? This is what brings me out. Like for some reason, Good Pods rates me in the top 22 of comedy. I guess I'm funny.
Cool.
you know, but I do like to raise awareness on my show a little bit. Like we did
Sure.
cerebral. A friend of mine down in Texas, he's a police officer, also retired Marine. His twins have cerebral palsy.
Okay.
Okay, I had another good friend of mine. I went to high school with her. Her son's autistic. We're going to talk
Uh,
about that, which we did.
Sure.
I have another one, a friend. She's type 1 diabetic,
Yeah.
and she did a huge bike ride in Vermont, raised some money. You know what I mean? Things like
Yeah.
that. I like to talk a little. There's more than just having fun and podcasting. You know what I
Sure.
mean? But I think,
Well, I think on a certain level, also you have a responsibility.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, to if kind of like in the Declaration of Independence, and I'm paraphrasing here, of course, because I'm not a nerd and I don't have it memorized. Which I guess I should if I'm promoting a history book, a stupid one at that. But it basically says, there's a line in the Declaration of Independence basically says that if you have the ability to do something, you have the responsibility to do something. And I said, I think everybody should use, their platform for good, whether that be trying to make somebody laugh, whether it be, um, to have guests on that have a certain cause, because
yeah.
there's a time for that, and I
There's
think
a
that
time
was,
there's a time and a thing just to, like you said,
yeah,
for it, and that's why, like for me, one thing, like you and I'll tell you, this has been a fun show tonight. I gotta say
Yeah,
that.
this is great.
It's been great, and
Yeah,
hopefully, Keb, you could come back on too again. You know what I mean?
sure.
After the
I'd
book
love
is
to.
when the book is released, because I want to
Yeah.
read the book.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
definitely going to be buying the book from you. So,
Well,
definitely
if you
get.
play your cards right, you might get a author signed copy.
Oh well, I definitely would love
Yeah,
the author
yeah,
signed copy. I
yeah.
definitely will.
If you play your cards right,
I
there
will.
there there are there are people that I know
Mhm.
that may have some author signed copies available for those who are so generous to invite me on their shows.
Hopefully, I'm one of those guys. So I'll start praying now. Please God, for those little pygmies in New Guinea.
I met him, you know.
But I gotta say though, um, it's truly refreshing. Again, I usually get a lot of people from Jersey, but I love branching out, and
Sure.
and that's the great thing about what I do because you know it, with me, like we said earlier, I don't want it to make it feel like it's a huge interview.
Right.
Why? Let's talk about you. We're celebrating
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
And that's the best part. And people realize it, like, oh, I'm nervous to come on and go. Don't be nervous, like you said.
Yeah.
I've had people say I'm nervous. Don't be nervous. Be you.
Yeah.
They're like, well, how do you do? I'm like, I'm being me, who I want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Just talk to me. Talk to me. The fact that billions of people are going to listen to this, don't worry about that.
don't worry about that. It's
Yeah,
just
don't worry about that.
right here, right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, how
And
many
that's
people are going to listen to this? I don't. At least one,
yeah.
because I'm going to listen to it tomorrow.
What's kind of funny, like when people ask me, well, why do you blog? Because I have things to say. You know what I mean? I really do have things to say. Like feeling helpless, like with my wife helping me out, driving me around. Like I feel like she's doing everything this past weekend. You know what I mean? I felt helpless.
Sure.
And I always want her to feel like she's very important to me, which she does, and she knows that.
Yeah.
But it's like I gotta keep thanking her. She always has the kids ready to go. She's a teacher. She's super mom in my eyes.
Wait. Your wife's a teacher,
Yeah, she is.
as is mine.
Oh, nice. Okay, so we
Yeah.
got a couple other
What,
things in common.
elementary?
Yes, special needs too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's a
Really? Yeah.
special.
My wife. We call her the soon to be world famous wife,
Okay.
and she wants to know when she's going to be world famous. And I was like, well, if you let me finish this fucking book, um, But um, she is a third grade teacher.
Okay. My wife,
And she's
she's
really excited to go back to school tomorrow.
really
Really excited.
that's the first teacher that said that.
I'm being so sarcastic.
I know.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm excited is when my wife goes back to work, we get an extra paycheck again.
Sure.
that's that's the one thing I go. I start playing a song called "Summertime Sadness." Is like a dance
Right.
club song. So
Sure.
every time the end of August comes, I got that summertime. She goes, "Shut
Sure.
up," I'm like, it's time to go back to work, and it's kind of funny. It's like it's when after Labor Day, it's the first full day of school. All you see is the parents rushing and throw the kids out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, get out, gone, you're done. Get me out of here. Go back to school.
Yeah.
We're counting down those days because now my son goes to instead of 3 days of daycare, not daycare, I go preschool. He's on 4 day now.
Right.
So we're like, yes, an extra day, keep you busy.
Sure. Sure.
So those are the fun things, man.
Yeah. The back to school weeks around here are always busy.
The back to school weeks here
Yeah.
are with my wife being a teacher,
And then the kids, yeah.
with her school, and then back to school night. So that's the only thing that's kind of bad because if this year might happen where her back to school night is the same day of my daughter's back to school night.
Right.
So that
Nice.
means I'm going to back to school night, which is
Sure.
not the greatest idea.
Right.
But I guess I'm gonna have to shut my mouth and just actually somewhat pay attention.
Right.
Usually I let my wife do it because she's a teacher, so she knows how to rib into other teachers.
Right.
And when I sit there, I start laughing because my wife was like, "Well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And I'm like, you don't like this teacher?" She goes, "Shut up." I'm like, "Yep, you don't like her."
Let me ask you this: does your wife like her principal?
That's a loaded question.
They never like the principal. They never liked the principal, and I could feel, the force is strong with this one, and I could feel my wife listening from the other room, and she's about to yell, "I like my principal. Don't be saying on that." No one's gonna listen.
My
Yeah,
yeah, and that's the same thing with my wife. She had her principal. She did like she retired. You
right.
know what I mean? They were there was a tight knit group. I could say that much. She retired. I want to say almost a year or two ago. Like I feel the force too. My wife is probably listening. She's upstairs. She's like, "You moron." But no, I mean it's kind of funny. Even I'm not even a teacher, but I do miss. You know, it's kind of funny. It was my dean of students, was my football coach.
Right.
He was like the principal of our old high school. You know what I mean? And that guy really, and I gotta give a lot of props to educators
Sure. Oh,
because not saying anything that my mom or my dad didn't teach me, but it was something that my old high school coach and dean of students really established into me was to be someone a lot better
right.
and to be more to be a more of a go-getter.
Sure.
And and I became a better football player because of him. I became a coach after I graduated high school because I hurt my knee. Playing football, so I never got a chance to play collegiate, but he gave me a chance to coach. Let me coach for 6 years, pretty much.
Nice.
Got a state championship ring out of it, and that's the one thing I love doing. And do I miss it? Yes. Will I go back one day? Maybe when my kid's a little older, maybe coaching him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I want to do a team thing and maybe coach him personally. But
Sure.
it's one of those things. I miss the sport, but I'll watch it to death. College football. My team is Notre Dame. Will always be Notre Dame because I went to a Catholic high school.
Okay.
So I was born and bred into Notre Dame that way.
Nice.
I went to an Irish Catholic school.
Okay.
So ours was the Gales, which is an Irish knight. So lo and behold, the Irish and everything goes with it.
Right.
So I'm a big Giants fan here in Jersey. No, don't like the Jets.
No.
they're like the Mets and the Nets.
I
Horrible.
like the Giants because A, they're not the Cowboys, and B, Tom Coughlin, who coached the Jaguars,
Hmm.
was a coach up there and won a
Yep.
couple Super Bowls,
Yeah,
and who, in
and
my opinion, deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
oh, without a doubt, I agree with you
Yeah,
100%. He
yeah.
deserves being in the Hall of Fame, just like Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall of Fame too, even though he's tied with Super Bowls with his brother.
I'm still pissed at him for one of the games that he beat the Gators when he was
So
at Ole Miss.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah, the Mannings and Gator fans don't. It was messed up. I had to deal when I was in Gainesville going to school.
Right.
I had to deal with a guy named Peyton Manning as a Tennessee Volunteer. This is the mid '90s,
Yes, I do remember that.
and
With that ugly helmet shield he had.
then the Jaguars came around, and I'm born and raised in Jacksonville. And so I kind of, because before I was an Atlanta Falcons fan, but
Okay.
but not
Well, yeah.
really, but not really,
No, because you didn't really have you had the Dolphins.
And you had the Bucks, but the
Oh yeah,
Bucks were horrible.
that's true. I
And
forgot about them.
so what? When the Jaguars came, we are like, okay, we root for the Jaguars now. And then like the first season, we went 4-12, and it was like, well, that was cool to see like all the other teams come to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But then like the second season, they spoiled us to make the playoffs, get the AFC Championship game, and
Oh
then
yeah, I
they were
remember that.
yeah, and then they were good for a while, for a second, and then so with Coughlin, going all that, but so then '97 comes around and Peyton Manning becomes a Colt. Now I
Mhm.
got to deal with him in the damn division, and I can't get away from this fucking guy.
And then now you have Eli.
Yeah,
You have little Eli playing at Ole Miss.
yeah. And they got Eli at Ole Miss. The only reason that the Gators two times had a really good shot to go undefeated. University of Florida Gators, three national
Oh
championships,
yeah.
three Heisman Trophy winners have never gone undefeated.
Nope.
And the two best chances that we had to do it, both times we lost to fucking Ole Miss. And outside of the 95 season, that was we lost to Nebraska.
And who'd you lose to? Not once, but twice. Eli.
Yeah. And this guy, I mean, and it wasn't like it was in Oxford. It wasn't. It was in Gainesville.
Yeah.
I mean, where back in the day, the Gators just didn't lose there.
No, did not. It was rare that Gators lost in Gainesville.
Yeah. I think under Spurrier, I think we won like 48 straight home games or something like that.
I think in his record at home, I think he has a total of maybe 4 or 5 losses.
Maybe.
I think in total in his years of being a Gator head coach.
Yeah, maybe. He's the only coach to hold the all-time winningest coach at 2 SEC schools.
Yeah. So that just shows you what he can do.
Right. Well, nowadays they don't stick around it long.
No, I mean, look at Urban Meyer.
Yeah. Don't get me started on that guy. There's a documentary coming out about them.
Yeah, no,
about the 08 team.
Yep, I'm looking forward to watching that. I just watched the Netflix the quarterback show.
Yeah.
That was great, actually, to see what they had to go through every day. I mean, I kind of feel sorry for Patrick Mahomes because of his brothers riding his coattails, but I love the fact that he's in trouble and his brother's not helping him.
His brother in jail.
Brother's in jail for sexual assault on a woman at a bar. And I'm not saying that. Listen, Patrick Mahomes is truly a legit GOAT quarterback.
Okay.
I think he's going to be the next Brady in championships.
I'm still pissed, man, because we had the Colts. We had the Chiefs on the ropes.
Yep.
In the division round of the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes was hurt, and the Jaguars let him off the hook and let Chad Henne drive down the damn field.
Yep.
And I was just like, you can't expect to win in the NFL by letting a backup quarterback in the second round. You're one game away from the AFC Championship game, right? It's going to be Lawrence versus Burrow. Everybody wanted that.
Yeah.
Actually, everybody wanted Mahomes versus Josh Allen, but that's beside the point because the Bills suck.
Yeah.
I could go on about the Bills are cursed. They're like the Kennedys of the NFL.
They are the NFL. I'm sorry. What was the coach's name back in the day? He went
Marv.
Not Marv.
Marv Albert's as a commentator.
He's a commentator.
Marv Levy.
Marv Levy.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best NFL coaches out there.
Oh, ever.
Okay, you don't go to the Super Bowl
4 times in a row.
4 times in a row.
Right.
You lose to one team. I think it was twice. The Cowboys.
Yeah, and you lost to the Redskins and the New York Giants.
Yes, the Giants. Yes. That was
Scott Norwood.
Yeah.
Go to Buffalo and just say the name Scott Norwood. Yeah, I'm fighting the words there.
There is. So that's one thing. And Josh Allen's an incredible quarterback. I'm not saying he's not a bad quarterback. Right. He's a great quarterback. But I just laugh every time I hear Buffalo in the playoffs. They just choke. They're truly. If you're a fantasy league guy, you love Josh Allen when it comes to the regular season.
Sure.
When it comes to the playoffs, he's Mr. Choke Thing.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Major League 2, Mr. Wild Thing, the Mr. You Can't Throw Thing,
right?
The Mr. Choke Artist. I don't know if they ever get over the hump. I don't think Josh Allen will win a Super Bowl as a Buffalo Bill.
I think it's going to become like an Aaron Rodgers thing sooner or later.
Yeah.
If you don't put the pieces around me, I'm gonna leave.
But, you know what? When Daniel Jones leaves the New York Giants, he can become a Giant, and we'll give him a Super Bowl ring that way.
Yeah, hopefully Josh Allen doesn't start doing mushrooms and start looking like Nicolas Cage from Con Air.
Well, I gotta give Aaron Rodgers props. He did pull the John Wick look very well for a while.
He did.
He did look like John Wick. He did the Keanu look really good.
It is just a weird dude. He's just a weird dude.
I gotta thank Danica Patrick for that one.
Yeah, but she is kind of hot.
She is, but she's a little out there like him
for a short girl. Yeah,
and a racer.
I think that's cool. I want to know how she pushed the clutch all the way down.
I don't think she had a clutch.
Yeah.
I don't think she was an automatic girl.
Automatic. Yeah.
For NASCAR fans, I know that's a sacrilege, and you got to have a manual transmission in those cars.
Well, they don't know how to operate a podcast app, so I'm just kidding.
Except for Dale Jr.
Yeah.
He's got.
They'll listen to Dale Jr.
Hey, he was. I watched him growing up as a kid.
Sure.
He lost his dad the same year my dad passed away.
Yeah.
A few months apart, and I got into racing the year before watching Dale Senior, racing, and then I started watching at that time. It was not it was the Winston Cup, and what the hell was
What, Bush series?
the Bush series? Thank you.
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
watching the Bush series at that point. I can
I
remember.
live like an hour from Daytona, so we're kind of indoctrinated with the
Okay,
NASCAR stuff,
so
so
for me watching Dale Jr., I started following him when he was in the Bush series.
right.
And then when he got up to NASCAR, of course, I started following him. I became a huge Dale Jr. fan in New Jersey. So people are like, why are you wearing Budweiser? I go, because I'm supporting my race car driver. Like,
Right.
what? I go, NASCAR? They're like, dude, this is New Jersey.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, so I like country,
Yeah.
but you're Spanish. Yes, I am. I'm a 300-pound Spanish guy that loves country music, loves NASCAR, loves beer, and loves moonshine. Go figure.
So I used to be a guest host on this is years ago. I'm talking years ago, probably 15 years now. Back when in podcasting its birth, and then they weren't even called podcasts; they're called internet radio shows.
Right.
And anyhow, I used to guest on this one called NBA for Life. And I'm not even a real big NBA fan, but I'm a fan of all sports. I follow all sports.
Right.
So anyhow, and it was based out of Canada, right? And so I'm in Florida, and I was on so often, and I'm sorry, I'm a comedian, so I make light of things,
Right.
and and they got to the point that they thought that everybody in Florida a loved NASCAR, b had a gun, and c everybody was a Florida Gator fan. And they just stereotypical, because I was like, man, you come down here, you talk about the Florida State Seminoles, you get shot. you
Yeah,
know
it's
and they're like, does everybody have a gun down there, because you hear about all the constitutional carry and all
is
that, and does everybody have a gun down there? Man, florists have guns down here. If you go to the convenience store, you better be packing, because you're probably going to get shot. you
oh
know and I love the stereotypes of different, of
well, it's
different
kind of
states.
funny. I mean, before we definitely end the show tonight, I got to
Sure,
get
sure,
one.
sure.
Because we definitely talked a lot tonight, Kevin.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you
Hey,
know
I
what?
told you.
No, you know what? It flowed tonight. You know what I mean? We were
Oh yeah.
flowing,
Oh
so
yeah.
we're definitely. It was a great show, but I remember I went to Vegas.
Sure.
So I'm out there to play in the National APA Championship Leagues with my pool team. So it's the first
Okay.
time I get in there.
Like
First time
billiards.
yeah, billiards, pool.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm excited because it's the first time I'm going somewhere to play nationally.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I think it was 23, 24. So we get into Vegas about a day early before the tournament starts.
Uh-huh.
Get our cues because they're being FedExed in, get our rooms, and explore Vegas a little bit. At least we can get like a day if we don't get eliminated.
Sure.
So the day before the tournament, I'm like, yo, who wants to go shoot guns? Everyone's like, that's a great idea. So we all go, and the gunsmith is telling us the types of gun and asking us what we like. I go, oh, I like the 9mm Beretta right there.
Right.
And he's asking questions, and hey, have you ever held a gun? I said no. Have you ever shot a gun? No. Do you know what to do with a gun? No. And then I bought like 5 boxes of bullets because shit, they were like $20 a piece at that time. So $100, I got like over 300 and something bullets to shoot. So I was like, hey, I'll do it. It's fun. This is my vacation on top of shooting pool in front of national people.
Right.
So there I am. I take the clip and I start putting the bullets in the clip. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out.
Sure.
So the guy's looking at me. I put the clip in the gun, get it ready, put the safety back on, And the guy goes, "You said you never held a gun." I go, "No, I never did." He goes, "Where are you from?" I go, "New Jersey." He's like, "Oh." I go, "But I didn't learn from Jersey." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Die Hard's 1 through 3, Lethal Weapons 1 through 3. God bless Mel Gibson and Bruce Willis."
Right.
He started cracking up because you don't see
That's
that.
funny. That's funny.
Oh man, you just don't see that.
Yeah, sure.
So it was just a natural act that I did it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm watching the movies. How did I learn how to drive stick? Through a video game.
Right.
This is stuff you remember.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
but my God, Kev, we talked so much tonight, man. We talked
Right.
about your stand up, your book,
Yeah.
which we're excited about when it comes out.
Thank you.
Um, let everybody know where they could find you,
Okay.
so they could listen to you, everything. You know what I mean?
Probably the easiest place to find me if you want to contact me at your own risk. And is either at Stupid Minute or at Keb Lives on Twitter. Big Twitter guy. More of the if you want the Stupid History Minute stuff, yeah, go to Stupid Minute. There's a couple of posts that we make every day. If you want more of my commentary, and certainly you want to catch me before in an Atlanta Braves game, complaining about stuff and more on the comedy side, I would go to Keb Lives. If I want to stress this enough, if you DM me, there is no censorship to what DM you might get back. So just be forewarned. I will answer you. I
Yes, he
will
will.
answer you, but you might catch me after a couple Jack Daniels. And so I would, time of day. And before you DM me, do this. Check the score of the Braves game. That might be that's a big thing too. Anyhow, so there we do have a podcast network that I'm a member of, and so our website's unfpod.com. You can find my stuff there. That's where you can find the pre-order for the book. It's at unfpod.com. If you go to it on a computer, you can't miss it because it hits you in the face. They've been very gracious to do that. And if you go to it on a phone, like most people, you got to scroll through the members, and then you'll come to a green and yellow thing, and it'll take you to the link. And it's available for pre-order on digital now through Amazon, and the link is on that site. And the author signed copies, if you would like to purchase one, you can pre-order one there before it gets into past Black Friday, because then the price is going to go up.
Yep.
But we wanted to get it out. It comes out October 1st. We wanted
Nice.
to get it out for the holiday season.
Great.
If you are looking for something that you can study for a test, this book is not it. It is written in a serious manner, and the stupid part about it is the subject matter. You are going to learn the very intensive history of a button and a
Nice.
paperclip and a toothbrush and blenders,
Nice.
airbags, Viagra, which is actually kind of interesting, Viagra. But before I go, I do want to say something. We did have yesterday. I know this is going to be time for, but yesterday we did have 8 different people who sent the Stupid History Minute a direct message asking, when is the ice cream thing going to end? Well,
I wasn't even going to ask that.
right. So it ended today. We started a new series today, being August 1st. But what I might do for those 8 people is I might break into the current series and do every ice cream known to man.
Oh,
There's like
Jesus.
500,
Yeah, there
you
is.
know, so we might do that. And I just found it funny. I didn't get a direct message for like 3 weeks, and I get 8 in one day. Going, hey, is ice cream ever going to end?
Well,
And
I
I
definitely
was just
think.
like, thanks for listening.
Hey, I think you definitely should put. Even though you said it here, you got to do the Taylor ham pork roll one.
Yeah, that'll come up. We're gonna do, and you know what? This just gave me an idea. In the fall, we've done this twice. We do it in the spring, we do it in the fall. It's called Guest Host Week. I'm
Okay.
calling on you, and
All right.
you are pork roll.
All right. Taylor ham.
Yeah, or Taylor Ham
Oh, Taylor Ham.
whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Let me know. I'll definitely come on, my friend.
Yeah, we what I could tell you how it works off air.
Yeah.
But yeah, that we do that, and we had a great response in the spring. So we're gonna do it again in the fall.
Great. Well,
Yeah,
look, I
probably.
look forward to it on that. So,
Yeah, it's fun.
but I gotta say, thank you so much for coming on
Hey,
tonight,
thanks
Keb.
for having me.
Guys, check him out. Check out him on Good Pod, Spotify. You can probably find
Yeah,
him everywhere.
yeah,
um,
known to man.
no,
Not
yeah,
Stitcher
definitely.
anymore.
No, not Twitter. It's X.
No, Stitcher, they shut down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, X,
X
whatever that
now.
is.
What the hell is it? I have no idea.
Oh, marks the spot.
Yeah, I guess it does. Because I looked at it, I'm like, what the hell is X? Was it a porn site that on my phone? It's the
Yeah,
first thing I noticed. I didn't even realize they were changing the name.
yeah. So,
Your show will be coming out, and I'll say it right now, August 22nd. We'll
okay,
be releasing the show.
okay.
Don't forget to pre-order the book. Check him out,
Yeah.
guys. He is, as you can see, instant friends right here because we're
Hey,
laughing our asses off all night.
oh, hell yeah.
Shout out to Mama D for introducing us. Gotta thank her again.
Love you, Mama D.
Yeah, we definitely do. Hopefully get you on Sleevy G one day. Or get both of you guys on. Have one big powwow. It'd be great.
She
Look.
actually had me and my wife on.
Oh, nice.
On one of her
Her
episodes.
shows.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta talk to her because I know we talked a while ago saying about me coming on. I said I would love to, except I didn't know what we just kind of we went different routes a little bit just because
Yeah.
shows have been going crazy. But
Sure.
guys, check me out on YouTube, subscribe, check me out on Spotify. My link tree will be up so you can connect to everything. Send me emails. I'll send you direct contact to my buddy Keb here. Just be careful with the Atlanta Braves and his Jack Daniels. That's all I got to say on that one. So I got to say good night, everyone. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.